Hey everybody, how's everybody doing? Hopefully everybody's enjoying their Sunday night. As always, my name is Juan Rodriguez, but I usually go by Junior. You're catching this video on YouTube Live, or if you join the Facebook page on Facebook Live. Again, as I always, want to start my videos by saying I want to thank the essential workers out there, the ones that are, working in hospitals, doctors, nurses, janitors, you know, just everybody from law enforcement to scientists to, truck drivers, fast food workers, grocery store workers, just everybody that's working out there right now. Just, we're all keeping you guys in our thoughts and prayers. And, hopefully this thing goes in soon so that way we can get back to normal lives. And then, as always, the ones that are quarantined, the ones that are being affected by this or have been affected by this. We're keeping you in your thoughts and prayers, and hopefully, the ones that are quarantined and are stuck at home, you guys are keeping fresh. Your mind's fresh, your body. Hopefully, you guys are taking care of the body, taking care of the mind. Trying to do some new hobbies, new everything, and then when we all work together, this thing will go away quicker. So, as always, wash your hands before and after every meal. If you're going to sneeze, sneeze on your elbow. Carry some hand sanitizer with you, and let's just practice social distancing. And you know, hopefully this goes over soon. And the quicker we all work together, the quicker this all goes away. So, sorry for the late start today. Got a little caught up in the Last Dance episodes today, but we'll discuss that later. Today, as I mentioned, we're going to talk about the AFC East. We're going to recap their draft. Every team in the AFC East: the Patriots, the Bills, the Jets, and the Miami Dolphins. So let's get the show on the road. We're going to start off with the division champs from last year, the Patriots. So they originally had a first rounder, but they traded it away, to the Chargers, so the Chargers can draft Kenneth Murray, and they just got some extra picks out of it, but they made the most out of it. So they didn't pick until the second round, pick number 37. They chose, Kyle Duggar, the safety out of Lahore Rhine. So if you could point that out to me in a map, I'm going to be very impressed. So, uh, but again, this kid was sort of like the talk of the town at the Senior Bowl as well. He was kind of like the mysterious, who is he? Why did he only go to a Division II school? He's way much better than that. Sometimes in life it happens. You're gonna find these kids out of nowhere that just show up, and it doesn't matter where they played. It's just, can they play in the next level? And for a kid that's from a Division II school to come out and go this high, I think it's a credit to him and his hard work that he put in. So hopefully it all works out for him, the safety out of Lahore Rhine. So other than what I can tell you about him is that he's just a classic center field safety. He's gonna, be the last man on the line to stop the play, and he's gonna play center field. So it's gonna be exciting to see how that works out in New England for him. Then with their other second round pick that they got from the Chargers, Josh Uche, the defensive end out of Michigan. So he's sort of a tweener. He could play linebacker and he could play defensive end, but they're going to try him out at end first, which I think is going to work out perfect for him. Josh Uche was sort of the unspoken hero at Michigan. There's always guys now that come out of Michigan who's better than what they intend to be. And last year it was Devin Bush, and Rashawn Gary was talked about, but really this guy, if he would have came out last year, he probably would have gone in the first round. It's just this year he wanted to go back. He kind of had a down year, which kind of downplayed his draft stock a little bit, but overall he had a great combine and everything. It's just he's going to play defensive end for the Patriots, which they desperately need now that the free agents that they did lose. So they're trying to rebuild that defense for New England. Last year their defense was the core of the team. It's just the offense really couldn't put much to it. But now with all the free agents leaving, they have to try to rebuild that. And then third round pick 87, staying on the defensive side, and for Anfernee Jennings, the outside linebacker out of Alabama. Again, another pass pro specialist from Alabama. Nothing new. Great solid pickup here. He had late second rounder, but he went to the third. So now you got your defensive lineman, your linebacker, and your safety. So, they're rebuilding it little by little. It's going to take time, but they can. If anybody can do a quick rebuild, it's Bill Belichick. He's done it for so long now. So until he really leaves the division, then it's still kind of his division to lose. Third round pick 91, Devin Asai, the tight end out of UCLA. I really didn't know much about him other than he played for UCLA. He only had 44 catches this past year, but other than that, he did all the dirty work at UCLA, by doing excellent run blocking and, doing all the dirty work that some tight ends really don't like to do nowadays. So I think what it is they just wanted to find a replacement tight end, now that Rob unretired, but he wasn't going to play for New England regardless. So that was out of the question. And a bunch of other guys retired as well, like Ben Watson, he retired. And so they have to find replacements now. So they believe in this kid, and we'll see how it goes. But literally 10 picks later, 101, they took Dalton Kinee, the tight end out of Virginia Tech. Now, him playing the ACC, I've seen him twice, for the last few years now, and I got to say he is a remarkable tight end. He is a great pass-catching tight end. Not the best run blocker, but he knows how to create separation, and he's very quick on his cuts. So I think he's going to be the new tight end of New England to be the pass catcher, and he's a big dude. So red zone targets, I could see that going. So that's a great solid pickup there. Then they picked in the fifth round, 159, Justin Rohrwasser, the kicker out of Marshall. Now, this name has gotten very, how can I say it? He's gotten very public this last week since he's been drafted. He's the guy, that kind of has the tattoo of the crazy, right winger tattoo, the 3%ers, the ones that are kind of, they are racist, like just not a very good tattoo. And he didn't really know, in his defense, he didn't know what it represented. He was just a kid when he got him. But not the best way to start your NFL career when you're a kicker and you're known to have a kind of a bad image tattoo. So this raised a lot of questions around around the just social media in general. How does this guy get drafted knowing the tattoos that he has? And whether he knew or not, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because he is only a young 20-year-old kid. He did do, it's hard to find people out there that didn't do stupid things when they were in their young 20s. So whether he knew or not, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and just say, look, man, he learned from his mistake. He said he's going to get it removed. Whether that was his choice or the team telling him he has to get it removed, that's a different conversation. But in this case, if he said he didn't know, he didn't know. So in this what's great about this country is you're innocent until proven guilty. So in this, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt by, him not knowing what it was, not knowing what it stood for. He apologized for it, and I think we should all just move on from it. So until proven otherwise, he was probably the fourth rated kicker on this draft coming out. So they needed a kicker. Adam Vinatieri is gone. Or I'm sorry, not Adam Vinatieri. Stephen Gostkowski is gone. So they needed a replacement, and they believe that he's the man to do it. So we'll see how that goes for him. Sixth round, 182, Michael Onue, the guard out of Michigan. Solid solid pickup here. Great feet, a great pass blocker, but not really known for his run blocking. He really doesn't know how to. He's not a people mover. He's more of a I'm going to give the quarterback time, which is always good, but you kind of want to excel in both. So again, another solid pickup here. So sixth round, 195, Justin Herron, offensive tackle out of Wake Forest. He again, him playing the ACC, I know a little bit about him. He's a versatile lineman. He could play right tackle. He could play left guard. Very limited snaps at center. He was the emergency center, just in case the two other ones did go down, and he did get a couple starts at center at Wake Forest, but his main focus was right tackle. I could see him transitioning into the guard, but we'll see how this works out for him. Sixth round, 204, Cash Maloya, the linebacker out of Wyoming. Now, he was the backup to the other Wyoming linebacker, Blake Morgan, but still very speedy, great hands. I think he led all linebackers this year on that team with interceptions. I could be wrong, but I think that's what he was. I think that's the same guy. But overall, instinctive, very smart, very intelligent. He knows how to go sideline to sideline. So at this point, you need another linebacker. He could contribute on special teams right away. So that's not a problem. And then their last pick, seventh round, 230, Dustin Woodard, the center out of Memphis. Now, he's going to be back up for now, but he could start down the road just in case the other center just, A, doesn't resign, or B, he just, just wants to leave or something. It's just getting to that point in his career now that's kind of where we're heading to. So overall for the Patriots, I'm going to give them middle of the road. Their first three picks were good, but after a while they just started drafting, best player available, which is good, which you want to do, but no wide receiver, just no other offensive help, no running back help. I don't know what this team offensively is going to look like next year. Jarrett Stidham's going to take the reins next year, and he's going to have to work with whatever he's got. I mean, and that's the thing with Bill, and I think a lot of fans are going to agree with this. Whatever Tom Brady had in New England, he made it work. And that was very little what he had. So good luck to him. But overall, I'll give it middle of the road, and we'll just see what happens. So moving on to the Buffalo Bills. So they didn't have a first rounder because the whole trade was Stephon Diggs. So they had to wait till the second round. But with their 54th pick, they took AJ Espinoza, the defensive end out of Iowa. Now, he was in some people's mock drafts a first rounder. I didn't see it only due to the fact of his slow 40 time. But I think at this rate, in the second round, I think it was a great chance to just scoop him up here and just take him here and just hopefully, he can replace Shaq Lawson, and we'll see how it goes. But I like to pick up here. If he would have gone in the first, then it would have been like, maybe late first. But I think getting him here in the second, I think it's worth the risk here. Third round, 86 pick, Zach Moss, the running back out of Utah. So he was very talked about in this draft. He was just that downhill power runner, which, Buffalo needs right now. They need that, powerhouse running back that can just get you those tough 3-2s, 4-1s, and he could be a wrecking ball for that, Buffalo Bills offensive unit. So I think this is another great pickup by the Bills. Fourth round, 128, Gabriel Davis, the wide receiver out of UCF. He automatically already became the tallest receiver in Buffalo because everybody else there is like 5'11", 5'10". They're pretty short. And then Stephon Diggs is like, I think, pushing 6'1". But at 6'2", 212, I mean, you can't, ask for more other than that. I mean, he's just a tall dude. He's really quick. His route running is really in the middle of the road. Like, he could do short to intermediate, but if you're asking him to do the double moves, the ins and outs, I think it's going to take a while. It's up to the wide receiver coach to get him better. But overall, this is a solid pickup here. He can contribute on special teams right away. So you got your, special teams guy here. And then fifth round, they actually went quarterback, Jake Fromm out of Georgia. Now, a lot of people were kind of, reading way too much into this. They were reading way too much into it as far as, are the Bills giving up on Josh Allen? No, they just really need a backup. So why not get a kid who was projected to go early, mid second to early third, possibly fall to the fourth? Well, you get him in the fifth. So why not have another youngster at the backup helm and see what he's got? I mean, I think people just read into this way too much. It's Josh Allen's team. He's the quarterback of the Bills as long as he wants to be. That's just the way it is right now. So I don't see Jake Fromm threatening, Josh Allen. But within his right, Jake Fromm does have a strong arm, which you kind of need to play in Buffalo because of the winds, kind of late November, December. You kind of need a strong arm to, get through those high winds. But Jake Fromm's got it. He's won. He's was like a game away from being a national champion. So he's a good quarterback. That's pretty much all to it. Sixth round. Now, I'm actually going to talk to my buddy about this one. Buffalo Bill, my buddy Bill, or Carlos, who was laughing at me because, kind of telling me that, when I did my Raiders mock draft, that I was hoping if the Raiders can get a seventh, we could get this guy. And that was kicker Tyler Brass out of Georgia Southern. He was kind of laughing at me that, why does anybody draft players like kickers, punters? It's a waste of a pick. Well, here you go, Carlos. According to you, the Buffalo Bills wasted a pick and drafted a kicker. But as I'm told you before, this kid is amazing, man. He's got a strong leg and he's deadly accurate. So other than that, I mean, he can kick long. He knows how to. He's accurate. He's won games on his leg, purely on his leg, because Georgia Southern could not find the end zone if you spotted him another 20 yards after they score something. But he's actually helped this team win games. So the pressure is nothing for him. He's kicked long field goals. He's accurate, and he was my top rated kicker coming out in this whole draft. Even better than Rodrigo Blankenship and Justin Rohrwasser, the kicker for New England. He was my highest rated kicker. So I think Buffalo's going to love him, and we'll see how this goes. And I wish him the best. So sixth round, 207, Isaiah Hodgins, the wide receiver out of Oregon State. Nothing more to it other than he's a tall dude and he's going to get red zone snaps. So in the sixth round, when you can find a tall target like that, and with Josh Allen's arm, just throw it up there and make sure he's the only one that can catch it. He's going to love this kid. Josh Allen's going to love him. So I think that was a solid pickup there. Seventh round, 239, Dane Jackson, the cornerback out of Pittsburgh. As I mentioned, me being a Miami fan, and I see a bunch of these kids from the ACC get drafted. Dane Jackson, majority of the time, played outside, but when he had to play, nickel and dime, he did play in the slot. So I think that's where he's going to end up right now. And I think this is a solid pickup here. If not for nothing, he could contribute on special teams right away. He could be your gunner. He could be your, the protector. He could do, your L4s, all that stuff. So, I mean, I think this is a solid pickup here. So for the Buffalo Bills, I'm actually going to give them a thumbs up on this one. I really am. Look, they got the defensive guy that they wanted. They got a kicker. They got a tough running back. They keep upgrading their wide receiver core. And now they have this kicker who will probably be the best value pick for them here. So overall, I think this was a great pickup by the Buffalo Bills. I give them a thumbs up on this one. And then moving on to the Jets. So the Jets made one of the, I wouldn't say surprising, but, it was going to go one way or the other. They were either going to get a weapon for Sam Darnold or they were going to get protection for Sam Darnold. So Either way, it was going to be wide receiver or offensive lineman. Well, they went with Mickey Becton, the offensive tackle out of Louisville. He was the star of the combine, the tall dude that runs really fast and all that crazy stuff. So overall, I think right now they'll probably put him at left tackle just to try him out there, but he can always transition to the right if need be. But I mean, when you look, the combine, it's all a crapshoot. So if you think this guy's gonna do it, if you're gonna get the most athletic dude, then all right, by all means, go get him. And now you got yourself a protector for Sam Darnold. But I think this is a solid pickup here for them. I think this was probably the route they wanted to go. So as I mentioned earlier, it was either going to be lineman or wide receiver. Well, 59, it's wide receiver. Denzel Mims, the wide receiver out of Baylor. Now, he was the guy that was getting a late push love to get into the first round, but in the end, he fell to the second. And he's just as fast as he's advertised. He's got good hands, excellent route running, and he's really fast. So overall, I think they did find the replacement for Robbie Anderson. I just hopefully it's enough to where maybe Sam can focus on getting him up to speed. So we'll see how this works. But this is a great pickup by them. Third round, 68, Austin, or yeah, I mean it's weird. It should be Austin, but they named him Ashton Davis, the safety out of California. Now, his coverage skills is amazing. He was a corner when he came to Cal, but then he transferred into safety. He's a cover safety. He knows how to play the center field, and he knows how to cover tight ends, running backs, all that stuff. The problem is he's not your prototypical free safety. If you're expecting him to be the last, line of defense to make the tackle, forget it. He was not one of the best tacklers last year in college football. He's more of a cover safety, which is good. It's just, again, you hope that that they're running if the team is a power running game and they get past the ninth man and he's your last dude, then you could just chalk it up as a touchdown. So we'll see how it goes. But overall, that was a solid pickup there. Maybe he'll contribute on special teams right away because, again, they have Jamal Adams and they have another safety out there. So he's not going to play right away. So we'll see how this goes. And then third round, pick 79, Jabari Zuniga, the defensive end out of Florida. Now, I know what my friends that are Jet fans are thinking. Oh, no, we drafted another Joichi Polite. He's not like that. From what they got away from the interview was that he did good. He interviewed well, and he's a good kid. So, compared to Joichi Polite, where the rumors were that his interviews were kind of bland and they were just, felt like they were just, bad attitude, whatever about it, because, Polite at that time thought he was going to go in the first round, and then he fell in the third. But I think this guy's a solid pickup here. I mean, he has a couple of injury concerns, but when he is productive, his last 2 years, 19 sacks, 35 tackles for loss, and overall 60 tackles. So he's not a bad kid. It's just when he's healthy, he's really good. When he's not, that goes for any player. But it's just Florida did miss him when he did get hurt. Moving on to the fourth round, 120, LaMichael Perrine, the running back out of Florida. So they stayed in Florida. They got the running back. Other to it, then he's just a power running back. He's going to help out the running game. He's going to take snaps in between with Le'Veon Bell, and we'll see how this goes. He's an excellent third down running back, so this is probably a good pickup for him. 5 picks later, they drafted James Morgan, the quarterback out of FIU. So for what people don't know, he was a transfer from Grambling State. He went to FIU. He tore it up. Strong arm. The only thing is his accuracy issues. His lowest that he ever finished was 57%, and his highest was 61. So that's what you're getting at. But again, he's not going to take snaps away from Sam Darnold. I think some people were just looking into that as him, like, oh, well, is Sam Darnold losing favor from his coaching staff? No, it's not that. It's just you need a backup. And if you believe that he's going to be a good backup, then okay, get the kid with the strong arm and hopefully it works out. That's all there is to it. And then 4 picks later, 129, they took Cameron Clark, the offensive lineman out of Charlotte. So again, not a big school, but he's a versatile lineman as well. He could play left guard, right tackle. So I think that's where they're going to use him now that, they got their tackle set up. Now you're going to have to get depth, and I think that's what he's going to be, just a depth player. So we'll see how this works out for him. 5th round, 158, Bryce Hall, the cornerback out of Virginia. Um, he came in hot during this whole mock thing, like he was, maybe a late first, then it turned into a mid second, but then he got hurt, during October, and then it was his ankle issue, and then he went to the Senior Bowl, didn't play, but he did interview, and that kind of just made him keep going down farther and farther to the point where you had that ankle injury in October, and you're still kind of out there, got invited to the combine, did the 40, but wasn't feeling it after that because of the whole ankle thing. Maybe he rushed it too fast, but that's what I say. I mean, you know your body better than anybody. I think he just kind of felt the pressure that he was getting high rated grades, and then when he got hurt, he just started to see his name kind of slip. But overall, I think the Jets got a good corner here. I mean, if injury is a concern, then maybe they can wait a year. But I think they did get a good corner here out of Virginia, and I think he's going to redeem himself, and he should be good. He should be good. 6th round, 191, Braden Mann, the punter out of Texas A&M. Now, he did win the Ray Guy Award for the best punter in the nation, and which is rightfully so. He was the best punter coming out of this draft class. So they needed a punter. They punted 87 times last year, the Jets, and the punter was really not that good. The punter was not good. So basically, they needed a replacement fast. They needed a quick fix. So why not just get the guy that won the Ray Guy Award? So, I mean, if anybody's going to know about punting, it's got to be him. I understand punting in college and the NFL is a little different, but why not take a chance? And it's only a 6th rounder. So if he flops, then hey, your franchise isn't going to be set back because you took a punter in the 6th round. It's that crazy. Overall, for the Jets, I got to give them a thumbs up on this one. They drafted their needs, they got great depth, and their special teams improved in one draft. So overall, I like it. For the Jets, I give them a thumbs up. And do we have a question? No. No? Okay. I thought you were going to say something. Oops, sorry about that, guys. 1 second. And whoops. All right, here we go. And bingo. Okay. So moving on to the Dolphins. So Miami, they had a bad year, and the whole thing was tank for Tua, but they ended up winning. So they didn't know if Tua, at that time, Tua was going to be available to them. Then Tua got hurt, and they got Tua at 5. I kept saying, though, that I think this is sort of kind of a big risk because the Dolphins were in a position where if you take Tua and he flops, you're fired. If you don't take Tua and he does good, you're fired. So he has to be good right away. And the thing that was kind of concerning to me was you have the 5th pick, and first night's over, and they ask him, well, how do you feel about Tua's, availability, and how do you feel about him? They asked the head coach, how do you feel about him playing? And I don't know if he said this wrong or if the people just took his words out of context, that they don't know, like he doesn't know if he's available to play right now. I like to believe that they took his words out of context, but the thing is, you're picking number 5. If there was any doubting you that he wasn't going to be ready for this year to play, why would you? I understand you needed a quarterback. I get that. However, The only quarterback at that time was taken was Joe Burrow, so that was out of the question. Justin Herbert was there. Jordan Love was there. Jacob Eason was there. Now, maybe not worth the 5th pick. However, you could have gotten yourself, a lineman. You could have gotten yourself a wide receiver, which they needed. You could have taken the best defensive player, something. It's just kind of worrisome. I understand where Dolphin fans are coming from. That Brian Flores said we don't know the availability of him to play this year, and it's like, well, you picked him at 5. You know what you got in Ryan Fitzpatrick, and you know what you got in Josh Rosen. So if you don't think he's ready to go, why get him at 5? Now, it's understandable if he came out and said we're going to redshirt him his rookie year and play him his second year. That probably would have been a better answer. However, when you're taking him and you really not concerned, but you're kind of like on the limbo of, well, maybe we should play him and maybe we shouldn't. You're kind of telling the fans to go F themselves in a way, because if that was my team, if the Raiders decided to pick some guy that, and they did a few years back, if, he's not ready to go, then why take him? With Dallas, it was a different just situation with the Jalen Smith thing. Everybody knew he wasn't going to play until next year. It's just who was going to be the team that take the risk. Well, Dallas took the risk, and it paid off for them. In this situation, he just got hurt in November. He's already had a list of injuries on him. And it's not just about the ankle. It's, just everything, that he's already had a long list of injuries to him. And you're still concerned that he might get hurt. You knew that coming in. So you can't say that. To me as a fan, you really can't say, well, we're just a little worrisome that he might still be hurt. It's like you knew this. You knew this could happen. So, but again, it's one of those situations. If you take him and he flops, you're fired. If you don't take him and he does great, you're fired. So the only thing you can hope for now is that he does great. The only thing is you put yourself in a situation now where you have to play him right away. Because if you go into the season with either Ryan Fitzpatrick or Josh Rosen, then all those draft picks you did, all those players you gave up, the Minkah Fitzpatrick, Laramie Tunsil, Kenny Stills, then it was for nothing, really. It was for nothing, really. So, but look, in any other draft, him being healthy, he would have been the number 1 pick. So, you got your quarterback. Let's just hope it works out. 18th pick, Austin Jackson. Again, this was my favorite moment of the draft, where his girlfriend was hugging him, and the mama said, nope. If mama says you got to move, you got to move. But Austin Jackson, the offensive tackle out of USC, we'll see how he starts off. I think he's going to start off at the right tackle position, and we'll go from there. But overall, he's a good kid. And for him to get selected at 18, now they got his protection. So they're building it. Pick 30th. Man, I really hope. I mean, if I meet him, cool. If not, then probably better, because if he ever sees this, I'm so sorry if I butcher your name. Noah Igbenogany, the cornerback out of Auburn. Look, he has first-round talent. It's just people thought he was going to slip because of whatever the circumstances. Wide receiver group, maybe he wasn't a need at the later rounds, but he could play safety and corner. So I think this is where the Minkah Fitzpatrick replacement is set. So now you did what you'd have to do. You got your quarterback. You replaced Laramie Tunsil. You just signed Byron Jones, and now you drafted this guy. The cornerback room for that Miami's Dolphin was already big, so maybe he can make a switch to safety, or maybe he could play corner, maybe he could do both. So you got your replacements with your first 3 picks, and now you just got to hope it all works out. Second pick, 39, Robert Hunt, the guard out of Louisiana. People mover, very tough, but passing game's kind of a touchy subject for him. But overall, I think if you're gonna try to protect Tua at all costs, you got to get big linemen so he can just have enough time out there. And I think that's what they did great. Overall, good pickup here. Second round, staying in the second round, pick 56, Raekwon Davis, defensive tackle out of Alabama. Um, he's good, guys. He's really good. Talking to my buddy who was an Alabama fan, he was more surprised that he wasn't getting looks at, second in the second round, that he should have been there. I think what he told me what killed him was a couple of injuries and that he really overstayed. He should have left as a senior when he did have that first round grade, but he wanted to come back, get his degree, which is always cool. And this is why he fell to the third or the second. I'm sorry. So not a bad thing. It's just, he did slip through the cracks and now we'll see, but he projects that he's going to have a good career. So I think so too. I think he's one of the better pass rushers out there. So I like the pickup here. Third round, 70th pick, Brandon Jones, the safety out of Texas. So again, this is more of a depth position, but Brian Flores, the defensive coordinator from New England last year, and his very first interviews, he pretty much said in this passing league, you cannot have too many defensive backs. So, and he's right. With the way the game is played nowadays, with a heavy pass offense from everybody, you can't have too many corners. You can't have too many safeties. So, again, Brandon Jones out of Texas, he's probably going to come in and, get the depth going. But overall, a solid pickup here. Fourth round, 111, Solomon Kindley, the offensive guard out of Georgia. I got to give props to Georgia to have three linemen. Two of them get picked in the first round, and then your other starting guard gets picked in the fourth round. I mean, I got to give props to this Georgia Bulldogs. They really did their stuff with them, man. From Andrew Thomas to Isaiah Wilson to Solomon Kindley, these guys did their thing, man, and I loved it. I loved it. So overall, I think this is a great pickup here. You're getting your starting right guard right away. So no, there's nothing wrong with this pickup here. So I like it. They don't have the running game going, but I'm pretty sure with this guy, I'm sure this running game is going to get going real quick. Fifth round, 154, Jason Strowbridge, the defensive end out of North Carolina. Now, this is an interesting one because people said solid third round for sure. Well, he slipped, and North Carolina, that's what happens. He's a great pass rusher. So the key is, for Miami, they just want to get after the quarterback. They want to slow, everybody's passing game. And I think it's smart because when you really look at this division, who really does have the best running back in this division? I mean, just by name, Le'Veon Bell, but even then, it didn't look good last year. So I think what it is, they're going to try to focus every team to run the rock so they can get after the quarterback. And I think that's what the Dolphins' key is that they're going to try to stop the run and then just get after the quarterback right afterwards. Fifth round, 164, 10 picks later. Curtis Weaver, who's probably going to be their best later pick, later round pick choice up here because he had late first to third round grade, but they got him in the fifth. And he could play outside linebacker. He could play defensive end. I think he's going to play linebacker in his 3-4 scheme. And his main focus, stop the run, get the quarterback, which he can really do really well. So I think another great pickup here. This is probably their best pickup after round 3. I think this is their best third day pickup right here. Then sixth round, 185, Blake Ferguson, the long snapper out of LSU. Again, let's just get this out of the way. LSU had a strong draft class this year. It was so good, their long snapper got drafted. That just shows you the depth, and that just shows you the great coaching and the great team that LSU had this year. So for their long snapper to get drafted into the NFL, that's amazing. So there's nothing more to it. He knows how to not one mishap as a long snapper. He always did his work, and he was just a great teammate. So other than that, another solid pickup here. Seventh round, 246, Malcolm Perry, wide receiver, Navy. So he was actually a double athlete. He was quarterback and he was wide receiver. It's just, he was more of a running quarterback. He ran more than he did pass, but that's just the way the scheme at Navy worked. They were a power run football team. So I think in this case, it was best for him to switch to wide receiver, which he has done. And I think right now, kick return duties for him, punt return duties. He's got the hands, he's got the speed to, try to break one. And I like this pick. So overall for the Dolphins, I'm going to give him a thumbs up. The Tua pick is still kind of confusing, not to the fact of his talent, it's just the words that Brian Flores said. But overall, I got to give him a thumbs up here. I loved what they did afterwards. After Tua, they could possibly found their new offensive line group in this draft. Their secondary got better, and their front seven got better, and their special teams just got a little better as well. So overall, great draft. Everybody in this division had a great draft. I wouldn't say that they won the draft, but not compared to teams like Minnesota, Baltimore, but this division just got better as a whole. So we'll see how this looks by next year. And that's going to wrap it up for today. Tomorrow, we're going to do the last one, the NFC East, and then it's over until the scheduled release show comes out, and then going to come live. We're going to do a instant reaction, reaction from a couple of my friends of mine to see what their take on their schedule looks like, and hopefully we can have fun with that. So tomorrow, it's all about the NFC East. Do we have any questions on the thing today? Nope. All right then, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday night, and let's get ready for Monday.